I thought we should start with a couple of jokes. Immediately we got a groan. I know I'm on the right track then. Okay, how many developers does it take to change a light bulb? I can't hear a thing you're saying. No, incorrect. Yes, Garima. 0. 0 is correct, but you don't know why? None. If it's not documented, it doesn't exist. Oh, come on. That was good. Jeez. All right, I'll do another one, just because. Why do JavaScript developers wear glasses? Because they can't see sharp. See? That was the right reaction. Thank you. Hey. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it. All right. So next up, we got Kirsty McDonald. And it says here, with a decade-long journey in the technology sector, she has learned there is never a shortage of opportunities for people who love to solve tricky problems, which is true. I completely agree. Her core expertise resides in platform and cloud engineering. Yay! Is it the right cloud, though? I guess we'll find out. Where she engineers resilient, reliable platforms in cloud environments. And she's here to talk about Dungeons and developers? Anyway, please welcome Kirsty McDonald.
Thanks, Lars. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect to be on the big stage. So if things feel a little weird as we go, we're going to adapt and have fun because that is what role-playing is all about. So, there we go, slides. Just before we get started, I'd like to thank obviously our sponsors, without who we wouldn't be able to do something cool like this, and I wouldn't be able to catch you at 3:45 p.m. on a Saturday to play role-playing games with me. So why are we all here? No, it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's sort of Dungeons and DDD. It's Dungeons and Developers, even cooler right now. I don't know why they didn't call it this in the first place. So for some of you who may know me, I've gotten into role-playing games in the last few years, and there's been a few things that I've thought, this really applies to really just building great teams. And as a technologist, I thought it actually really applies a lot to building great tech teams. And so luckily I was able to combine two of my nerdy interests, role-playing games and building good tech teams, into this talk. So I've had a couple people approach me during the day being like, oh, will I miss out? Do I have to have prereq knowledge to enjoy the game, or a little sneak peek volunteer later? No, you do not. The agenda for today will be starting with going through an overview of what role-playing games are, starting from bare bones basics. We're then going to get into a bit about the benefits of role-playing games, a bit of research, and why I think this is a fun hobby, but also something we can bring back to our tech teams. And then the fun bit, which is the bit that might go the most astray, but in the funnest way, we'll have a little game. So for about 20 minutes, I'm going to ask for 4 volunteers who will play through a little scenario with me. It is not going to be as fun as playing Dungeons & Dragons, unfortunately. It is set in a tech team, but we love those, right? We're all here. So yes, hopefully we'll have some experience in that area. And then we'll do a little wrap-up where we'll reflect on what we've learned from our session. So, a bit about me. I'm Kirsty. As Lars said, as well as been playing role-playing games for about 5 years now, I've been working in the tech industry for about 10 years as a cloud/DevOps/platform engineer, and I've also done a lot of consulting, so have a wide, a breadth of experience in a lot of different areas. I am also an avid reader. The last time I was actually in this hall was for Bonnie Garmus, who wrote Lessons in Chemistry, who was on this stage, so it's pretty cool to be back and be here with DDD. So, what are role-playing games? At its core, a role-playing game just requires the player to assume the role of a character in a fictional universe and then play that character. It's pretty simple. So the fictional universe comes from somebody who's also in the game called a game master, who will describe this universe and the steps and problems you'll need to overcome. So there's lots of different types of role-playing games. I'm sure a lot of you will have played video RPGs, or acronym for role-playing games, which I'm going to use. Sorry, we do love acronyms. There's also live action role-playing called LARPing, which I'm sure many of you will heard of. People get, full costume, dress up, which is really the next level. But today we're going to be talking about tabletop role-playing games, which is, as it sounds, a group of people coming and sitting around a table to play together collaboratively and synchronously. And that's a really key point. So when I think of tabletop role-playing games, it's usually like collaborative storytelling is what happens. You've got your players who are making decisions and helping create the story, and the game master who's helping to guide it. Now, role-playing games aren't like other games where you have winners and losers, like you all have to work together, which is part of the fun. But there are some other important elements as well as, your characters and your fictional universe, which your game master lays out. We have rules, which are very important to actually make it a game and have some structure so that it's not just whatever the hell you want. But then there's also another very important part, which if your role player games in the room will know and love. We have our pretty dice, which many of us have spent lots of money on, I'm sure. Oh wait, actually, while we're here, I meant to ask earlier, can I get a show of hands in the audience who has played role-playing games before? Woo! Okay, and who hasn't, and who's brand new? Great, good mix. So there's a lot of you who will probably have a very expensive dice collection like mine, but also, as well as being pretty, they are very important to the game. They help make it, more chance-based, more fun, and you have to be more strategic. Everything that you try to do is not always going to work. Now, as you can see, there's lots of different shaped die on the screen. The one that we're going to be using today for the game is a D20, which means it's got 20 sides on the dice. This wouldn't be that important, but when I've done this session in the past, it's been a lot smaller crowd, and I've been able to bring along my own dice. Today, that's really difficult, so I'm going to be doing it on my laptop with a virtual dice roller, so I'm really sorry, but that's just how it is. But yes, we're going to be rolling with a D20. So 20 is great, the best outcome possible. You win all the things, hooray. And if you roll a 1, that is bad. That is, well, we'll see some examples later as to what, it's the worst possible outcome. Like if you roll a 1 and you're trying to debug logs in our game later, you're not going to die. Like you just might not find the logs you want. Okay, but Kirsty, I hear you say, there's all these components and that sounds good and you think there's some nice plastic bits, but how does the game actually work? And what do I actually do in a game? So the first part is creating a character, and this is very blurry, but it gives you a taste. So this is a Dungeons and Dragons character sheet, but really the goal is to not just have a character like that's very shallow and one-dimensional. You sort of want, like, when you're creating personas in your tech teams, you want a really rich character. You want to know their goals. You want to know why they're on this adventure, what their history is, who they are. And as well as that, as you can see, there's often some numbers that is like cool stuff, like how they fight and how much magic they have. And there's also, a picture to help visualize. In this case, a beautiful elf man. So, as much as I would love for us to all play with beautiful elf men, the game we're playing today is set in reality in a tech team. So I will go through the character sheet, but there's a link tree on the screen, and if you scan it, there'll be a whole bunch of links, but you should get some links to character cards, which should allow you to download the PDFs that we're going to be using to play later. And you'll just be able to look at it in a bit more detail. So the character cards I've got for today have a few different sections. So this one is John. He is a product manager, and you've got his goal and history, which is his backstory. Look, it's not as cool as like I want to avenge my dead mother, but as much as an exciting history product managers can have. No, we are at a developer conference. I'm not making any digs at product managers. Then we also have interest, add a little flavor. And the other two sections are more important for when we play the game later. We have special powers and skills, and you might see some numbers here. And these will relate to how they roll the dice and how likely they are to succeed in things. So we've got a few different skills. For example, John here has got bigger numbers in analysis and creativity, that means that he's better at those things. But his technical skills are -2, that means he's not as good at those things. But maybe other members on his team are, who knows? So yes, you'll see a bit more of these later when we have the players up to play the game. But that's sort of the character creation part. Next, we have our story setup. So this is usually what the Game Master will help do. And in today's little session later, I will be the Game Master. So the Game Master's role is to set the scene, create the universe. What are people smelling? You know, what are they seeing? And also the problem. Why are the players there? Why are they characters in that particular scenario? So in my most common role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons, you know, they might be in a medieval town tracking after someone who's stolen something from them, or you might be in a fight trying to kill a dragon who has stolen something from them. Lots of stealing. Unfortunately for you guys, the game we've got today isn't quite as fun, but we will be in an office. Come on, guys. Yeah, woo! We love offices. I will try and make it as exciting an office as we can. But yes, that's sort of the setting. And I will present the problem as well later, which the players will have to solve. And that comes into the final part of playing the game. So once you've got your characters, you understand them, you know who's who in the zoo, you've got your setting from your Game Master and the problem you're going to solve, then you start rolling the dice and go. And I know when I started role-playing games, this was the bit that was most abstract to me because it just felt too unstructured. Like, I'm an engineer. I need structure to things. We will see it. I think it's better to just see how we go when we play, but as the Game Master, it's my role to help prompt and guide things along. And really, the scenario today will be quite familiar to many of us, so hopefully it won't be too much of a stretch to get your imagination boots on. Wow, imagination boots, that's really fresh. But, okay, we love role-playing. How could it help me and my team? Why am I here at a tech conference and not at a Dungeons & Dragons conference? There's a load of benefits. And so when I went looking online, as you do, because we like researching, there's been loads of studies done in this space. And just a grain of salt for anything I'm talking about, a lot of the studies done that I found were quite small, just because there's so many different role-playing games and it can be facilitated so differently across, you know, depending on what the Game Master's like, all that sort of stuff. So it is hard to get consistent results. But there's so many use cases, and two of the most popular I found were in education and therapeutic settings, which is really cool. But the three main areas I wanted to talk about today with some studies to back them up that I wanted to talk about were mental health, building empathy, and team decision-making. So starting with mental health, one of the studies was done through a series of interviews with players to try and draw a correlation between playing Dungeons & Dragons and their mental health. And they described mental health as the player's emotional, psychological, and social well-being. And there was a load of themes that emerged and the benefits people felt. And they grouped them into, well, there was a load of themes. There was 5 themes that they grouped the benefits into. These were escapism, exploration of self, creative expression, social support, and routine. Now, a couple of these are more self-explanatory, like social support and routine. This usually just came from playing with a group of people that they knew and forming friendships on a regular basis. Like, they were playing fortnightly in this study. And so just having that is a huge help for mental health. But the thing I did want to talk a bit more about was creative expression. So about 70% of the players in this study, let me look at my stats, reported feeling improved creativity and imagination, which is crazy. That's so cool. And on average, tabletop role-playing game players, what a mouthful, also have higher creativity scores. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Moving along to the second benefit, empathy building. So when we think about empathy, we think about how we relate to others, and it's all about, you know, understanding others' perspectives and sharing their feelings to some extent. And this study did an online survey that was based around, another word, David Interpersonal Reactivity Index. Look, I haven't done a lot of empathy research before, so a lot of this stuff was new. But it was basically an empathy test. And this test looked at empathy in like 4 different groupings. Perspective taking, personal distress, fantasy empathy, and empathic concern. And the players that did the survey had higher than the average population in 3 out of 4 of these. So in fantasy empathy, which is unsurprising, empathic concern, and perspective taking. So that's pretty cool as well. Like, we all, like, building empathy, is a really hard skill to practice. Like, how do you get that? So maybe role-playing games. And the final study and benefit I wanted to talk about was team decision-making. So this one was a little bit of a stretch, but it was really cool. So the paper spoke about how teams cultivate civic behaviour and moral deliberation. Ooh, big chunky topics. And it spoke about this idea of dramatic rehearsal, which was made famous by a psychologist called John Dewey, which is basically just that when you act something out, and not just in your mind, but like in a group with other people, it forces you to make decisions and take actions that you wouldn't normally, and allows you to learn at a much faster rate together, like as a group and individually. So when the authors of the paper were looking at the key components that I've spoken about today of RPGs, things like, you know, your characters, the co-creating of a story, the rules, they found that it was a really good way to practice this dramatic rehearsal, because so much of the decisions were made around creating something good together, this collaboration, as opposed to just a trade-off analysis, what's the best value and all that sort of stuff. And it lends really well to complex decision making. And there was just this quote as well, which I thought was quite relevant to this group. Ethical conflicts can be settled by creative choices that harmonise competing interests instead of simply picking the most pressing or weighty interest for going others. Now, I know a lot of the time it doesn't feel like in tech we're making ethical decisions day to day when we're writing our tests or whatever. I'm always just writing YAML. But we do make those decisions. You know, we're thinking about what data we capture in every interaction with our customers. We're thinking about the privacy and security of the data we store. We're thinking about how we build products and get our users to spend time on them. And these are hard, really tricky decisions. And so wouldn't it be cool if we could have a way of building skills and making those complex decisions? I think so. And just before I move off the benefits and we get into the fun part of the talk, which is the game, there was a couple of points that I didn't find as much studies for, but which I think were really important and what actually drew me to giving this talk in the first place. The first one was around the value of diversity in teams. Now, we all know this. We see the reports that say having diverse teams, it, creates better business outcomes, blah, blah, blah. But in Dungeons & Dragons, if you don't have a diverse team, you will literally die. Like, it is very important. Like, if you come up against a dragon who's breathing fire and all you are like little short gnomes with swords, like, you're gonna get burnt up. But if you got, some archers up the back, a cool chick that does magic, like, yes, those little gnomes up the front will still die, but, the party will survive. The greater good will live on. And I just love how explicit the value of diversity and the importance of it is made. And you'll find this, if you start playing a role-playing game with a group of people, you don't want to have two of the same. You can get weird conflicts. People are like, no, I want to be the wizard. No, I want to be the wizard. And somebody has to give in. And an outcome of that as well is that you have to have real discussions about leveraging each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's not just like, oh, I think I'm pretty good at this, so maybe I should go up front. It's like, hey, I'm squishy as I'm very weak, like, please protect me, strong man / woman. And it just happens so naturally in the game, and I just wish that we could have more of those discussions in our teams openly and honestly and bring that vulnerability. And I think being able to practice those things in a safe space allows us to actually build those skills. And the last stop point I had was just imagination. But you can imagine, no, I'll tell you. So as adults, I just find we so rarely get the chance to use our imagination in a fun way. except, sometimes if you have children, they will force that upon you. But if you don't, it's really hard. And one of the toughest things I found starting to play Dungeons & Dragons was using my imagination and coming up with weird and wonderful things you can do. And I find that with other new people who come in, it takes a little while to get into the swing of it. And it's one thing we'll probably find if you play role-playing games, or if you do the workshop that I'll provide at the end with your team, it takes a little while to get into the swing of like, oh, I have to be someone else. But you do practice and you get better, and it's really, really fun. So, before I wrap up and move on to the next section, this is pretty dramatic, but it was in one of the studies, and I was like, well, it's the end of the day. Let's get people riled up. Role-playing and live-action role-playing games are multi-leveled forms of culture combining literary, visual, and emotional experience. Role-playing games are the art of experience. Now, it's a pretty big quote, and we probably won't feel it that much when we play 20 minutes. So I don't know if you guys are going to leave the stage being like, whoa, I'm a new person. But I finished a campaign last year where I played a character for 4.5 years. That mountain dwarf cleric is a part of me now, and she has taught me many things, and I would love for you all to be able to experience the same. Probably not today, though, again, just setting standards. Okay, game time, the incident. Ooh, thank you. So this is the time when I'm gonna ask for some volunteers. So you don't need to have role-playing game experience. I'm just gonna need you to come and sit up on the stage. You'll get character cards, and just be willing to have fun and have a go for 15, 20 minutes. So I think I've got one volunteer, M. Oh, red dress, come. Man in middle, come. Chick with white shorts, come. I was really, woo! That was actually one of the bits of the talk I was most stressed about. So I'm really glad it's worked. So we have 2 mics. You've got them both, great. So I will ask my lovely volunteers to sit on the seats when you guys come up. And while they are getting seated, I do have, 4. Oh, Em is a volunteer too. So do not worry about scanning the slider. I was going to do this on voting, but look, we're all at the end of the day. I think we're all warm. I'm going to get this on woos and noise. So, wait. I need you guys to vote on something. So, and there's going to be another vote later, but I hope you're all warm. So I have 3 different sets of character cards, which are basically going to provide the vibe of the team these guys are going to be playing. So I'll describe the vibes. First vibe. Look, they're an inexperienced team, but they're happy to be here. They love working together, and they're good at it. Second team. They're quite competitive. They don't work well together. Some might call them backstabby. Third team. They're selfish. Not in a backstabby way, just like, I'm here to do my 9 to 5. My team members are okay, but I don't really want to be here. So I'm going to call through those options and woo if you want those vibes to be in our game. Okay, vibe number 1, inexperienced but nice. Pretty good. Vibe number 2, backstabby. I thought that would get the most response.
They're out for the blood.
Vibe number 3, selfish. Okay. I thought backstabby would win.
This audience.
It won when I practiced with my family of 3 last weekend. So. Okay, so I have character sheets that I'm just going to randomly hand out. And I hope you keep your woos in check. There'll be another vote later.
Ooh, Sophie Lauren.
Okay.
Quality assurance.
So take some time to have a little read. And I am going to ask you to introduce yourselves to the crowd. It would be nice to use your real name as well as your character name, just because I've just pointed at you, so yeah. So introduce yourselves, hi, I'm Em, I'm playing yada yada, and this is my John Smith or whoever you are.
Cool. I'm Em, or Sophie Laurent. I'm a tester, quality assurance, and my goal is to listen to some sick hip-hop, do some testing by myself, and then go home. What are my powers? Okay. I'm great at helping others fix problems. And anytime I help someone fix their problem, they get a bonus +4 added to their roll.
Oh.
But I'm -5 on collaboration in my skills. Charisma also is not too good. It's just 2. But communication is at 4. So
Pretty
I'll
good.
leave it at that. I'm good at 3D printing, apparently.
Thanks,
and
Em.
cooking.
Cool. I'm Mish, everyone, or Karen Murphy. I am a developer. I duxed my degree at uni 7 years ago and have worked at 3 different companies since. The people who hired me seem to be really smart, but it turns out they're really, really dumb. I'm gunning for a promotion and I don't care who's in my way and I'm taking them down.
Okay, Karen.
Hi, I'm Veronica, or John Smith. I'm a product manager and I know my stuff. I've been working in tech since the dot-com boom. And I'm not one of these new product managers who's got no idea what they're doing. And I've been at this company for years and making bigger bonuses every year.
Oh, John. Big man on campus.
Hello all, my name is William. Before I start, I hope none of you will kill me because I'm just playing my character. Don't blame me, the real person. All right, my name is Viv, and all I care about is marketing, getting those numbers up. You know, I don't understand any of you developers. You're all weird. I don't understand shit. It's all about marketing. And I know a lot of company secrets. Karen.
That's his special power, by the way. It's not weird.
And actually, I have a high skill in technical and analytical skill. And at 5, and charisma skill is at 3. The irony there.
Great. No, you guys keep the mics. Excellent. So now we've met the characters we're going to play with. We are going to get started in our campaign. Woo! Okay, so as you guys know, it's my job as the Game Master to introduce the fictional universe we're working in. And today, that is Ben's Boats. Today, the team before us is working for Ben's Boats. It's a company that sells boats and gear online. It allows both users and suppliers that Ben has agreements to upload boats and products onto their platform. It started in 1979 with Ben and his passion for boats, but his son, Craig, has taken over. I'm not saying I leaned on stereotypes for this at all. Craig has overseen the product side and taken Ben's Boats online, which has been great, which has been very successful. And they have brought on a great CTO, Jenny, to guide the technology build-out and support the website. And they are now the premier online boating and water sports store in Australia. So Jenny has been able to build a relatively simple and well-chosen technology stack. Really, the only reason I'm showing this is to just, you guys can't really even see, but the aim of the game isn't to like get weird and dive into like, what's my React hooks doing? It's to have it just, you know, have fun and work together as a team. So don't worry too much about the tech. So Ben's Boats has a lovely new office in none other than Cremorne. And like many startups, let's say it's a converted warehouse to really set the scene. Big high ceilings and lots of echoes. They've just moved into a new office, so there's also loads of construction happening and echoes going around. Not familiar to me at all. It's a hybrid workplace, so some days the office is pumping, while others it's very quiet. Today, as the team arrives at the office, they notice it's fairly quiet. But on the plus side, they get prime choice of desk. So, I was meant to show these before, sorry. We've met all our characters. Here are their lovely faces again. So we are going to get into the incident. As you all set up your desk today, you laugh to each other about how quiet it seems. You can hear some muffled voices through a meeting room at the other end of the office, but that seems to be about it. You start logging into your laptops and getting ready to start the day. Then all of your laptops go off with a loud Slack notification ping. For some reason, you don't have them on mute. You all get the following notification in the whole company Slack channel from the head of customer support, Bob. Hey team, we've got a critical situation. Customers are flooding us with complaints about not being able to access the system. It's affecting login services, payment processing, and even our public status page is unreachable. It all seems to have started in the last 10 minutes. This is major. We need your help ASAP. If there's any other details you need, let me know and I'll get someone in the team on it stat. Please let us know when you have updates so we can keep the others informed. Sorry about that accent, everyone. You all sigh as the dashboards in the office start showing all these red graphs. And the CEO, Craig, emerges from the meeting room at the end and starts walking down the office towards your team. And he says, I can't do another man voice. I've only got one in me. Hey team, I assume you've seen this alert and the problems we seem to be having. I know it's not your team's job to look after literally the whole website, but because you're all in the office, if you could do it, I would love it. So thanks. And Craig walks off. What does your team do? So while you're having a little think, I'm just going to try and get my dice up so we can have some dice rolling happening. But yeah, any of the characters can have a first guess at how they would like to tackle this.
It was definitely last night's release. I tested it and there was that bug. So it was definitely that.
Okay, so you definitely tested last night's release. I'm going to roll to see how well you tested it. So that would be, because you're Sophie, you're the QA, right? Yeah, okay. So let's see how well this dice rolling goes. Oop, I think it's space. Yep, it is. Oh. So what positive do you have on your technical skill? I assume it's positive.
Positive. Communication?
No.
It should be down the bottom.
+4.
+4. Okay, 8. Look, you thought you did the testing, but some things may have slipped through. Yeah.
No.
So it's your fault.
No, it's not my fault. It was the developer. I can tell you that.
Okay.
So you're blaming Karen?
So, yeah, I'm the senior developer on this project, and none of my developers have reported this. Why are we only seeing this now from the QA team?
Did they test it on production?
I'm not the tester. You are.
I tested it with test data.
We love the sass, so I might actually, Karen, you're saying that, there was a release last night, is that what we were saying?
Seems like there was a release last night that someone okayed, even though the testing was not done properly.
As the developer, do you reckon you would have had to have been involved?
I should have been consulted. I'm clearly the smartest person in this company, and I should have looked at that and cleared it beforehand.
Let's see. I'm gonna have a think about. Okay, I'm gonna roll this on charisma to see whether people would have felt comfortable coming to you if they were doing a release. How much of a guarantee was it that you would have been in the loop? Wait,
pretty
okay,
low.
it is another 4. Sorry. So what's your charisma?
Oh, my charisma is really bad. It's like
Okay.
-1. Nobody likes me.
Okay, so
For some reason, I have no idea why.
so there's
Like, why wouldn't people like me? I'm definitely an approachable person.
there's a good chance, Karen, that a release went out from someone else that you might not have been across that could have caused this problem.
Right.
Okay, so
Do we have a process for this?
pardon?
Do we have a process written down correctly and documented for this?
Let's see whether we do. What would this be under? I'm just going to say, I'm going to call it communication skills. So Karen tries to see if there's a process, 17.
Oh, and I got 1 for communication.
So there is a process. You can really quickly, easily see what sort of process were you looking for?
A test and release process. So do we correctly test it? Do we get it signed off by a second tester? Does the
Great.
developer tick off before it goes out?
Karen, well, no one likes her, does know the processes. Yeah. And she jumps on their internal wiki or wherever it is and finds the release documentation for last night and sees that it does look like one of the QA steps has been missed. It might not be from Sophie, it's probably another team's QA. I know you'll go for her. Also,
Do we contact the product manager?
While Sophie and Karen are going at it, I might ask whether our product manager or marketing would like to do anything around communication or contacting customers?
Look, we need to tell all the customers that the service is down, just so we get the good PR point, the fact that we're being honest and transparent.
Yep.
So I hope that we can fix this within the next 30 minutes. So just to show that we can fix problems really quickly and get more brownie points.
So are you going to send an email out to the customers now then?
Emails, tweets, YouTube Shorts, apology video, all of it.
Okay, let's see how well our marketing man Viv can actually communicate as well as he thinks he can. So let's roll this dice. Oh, it's a 17. Wow. He wordsmiths those emails beautifully and does amazing tweets, and people see it as a positive. They're like, yeah, thank you. We know things go wrong in tech. We move fast when we do break things. Thanks, Viv.
The irony is that my skill in communication is just 1.
Sometimes you just get lucky, just like life. John, product manager, is there anything? Also, I do notice that you're the dev and the QA in your team might be having a bit of a tiff, so you do you, but.
Yes, at the moment, we obviously care about our customers because we need them using the product. It's the only way we can make money off them. The marketer is right. We gotta get comms out there, get them using the product so we can make that money.
Yeah, okay, so you're just providing help in any way. Excellent. Okay, so we're still at a point where we don't know, like we know that the release was a bug. What do we want to do about it?
I'll pass this one over to the QA tester first. I want to hear your opinion, what you think we should do first, and I will evaluate it.
My question is, were there unit tests written for this? Did the unit test not catch this bug?
And it's right at this point, I'm noticing we're running short of time, so I'm going to do another quick vote from the audience. Okay, so it's at this point we're going to have an interruption, and we've got one of 3 choices. First one, network connectivity drops in the office. They will not have access to any systems. Second option, a micromanager from another team for some reason rocks up in the office and tries to take control of everything. And the third option was the team members start fighting, but that's sort of already happening. So I'm actually just going to get you to vote between the 2, network connection, micromanager. Okay, vote if you want network connection issues. Okay, Sam, micromanager walks in. Okay, guys, I got to be my best micromanager now. I've used up all my generic man names. Let's go. Kevin walks into the office. Kevin is manager from another team. Team, what are you doing? Viv.
Surviving.
You need to make sure that those emails are schmick and span. And you need to make sure the footers are exactly as I discussed.
I'm your man.
Okay, product manager, John, you need to make sure we're still getting customer payments through somehow, even though the whole website is down. And I will watch over your shoulder as you do it.
That's okay, I'll send out my pay ID.
Okay, great. Karen, I know you're going for a promotion because all of us managers talk about it, and this is honestly not acceptable. You need to be on the code. You need to be in the production. Just chucking in those changes.
Honestly, I am trying my hardest here. Nobody is as smart as I am. I have to fix every single person's code in the office.
And Sophie, you've got
I'll be out the door tomorrow.
There's such a high standard of quality. I know you care so much. This isn't like you. We need to get on and do all the tests together. How does that feel?
Oh, yeah. When do you want to start? Now?
I'll be right here. No, I won't. Okay, so you guys actually, just because we're running short of time, the micromanager gets sick of you guys all fighting with one another and leave. So we're back to trying to solve our problem. So I think Sophie was looking into something. What did you want to try and do? Are you testing or trying to figure out the release?
I think the developers should go in and check the logs.
Yeah.
Read the bleep logs.
I'm checking the logs here, and we're not seeing a whole lot. So can we check to see what error codes we're getting, and whether they are something we can quickly fix? Yeah. Look,
I'm going to fudge these dice rolls, and I'm going to be open about it because we are running out of time. You find everything you need to fix the problem.
Everything I need is right there. All right, well, since I'm the senior developer
here... To fix the problem
here,
immediately.
and you're the QA tester, I'm going to delegate this job to you to fix. So we've got this error log here. Go check it out. Everything's there. It's pretty clear. If you can't do it in the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to do it for you because I'm so much better at it than you are.
Oh, no. But I think I found it.
You found it?
Yeah.
Yay!
It's the payment provider.
It's a payment provider. Maybe we should, what's the sponsor's name here? Let's,
Move to Pinch.
the Pinch. We need to get off Stripe and we need to move to Pinch.
We need a hot fix, Sitch, so maybe we put that in the backlog. Let's just get this fixed in the next minute.
Yeah, cool. Hot fix is done, ready to go. We're ready to push it out. QA's done the testing.
Excellent.
It looks all right.
You know the processes, Karen. I'm sure you would roll well.
Process says it's good to go. Check
Excellent.
twice. Got a done, got a tick, got an emoji. We're ready to go.
Great. So I'm going to say you release. I did have a little script, but you release. It fixes the platform. Ben's boats is up again. Woo!
Cool.
Woo!
Sweet.
The CEO, Craig, reemerges from his office and is just like, great job, guys. I knew you could do it. Thanks for being in the office and, helping fix our problems. We'll do a PAR later. And he just goes back into his office.
I'm going
I don't know
home.
why he's got that swagger.
Me
but,
too.
I think I'll probably call it there and give a big thank you to our volunteers for rapid firing role-playing games.
I made money, it's fine.
It's really hard to balance the game in such a short amount of time. In longer games, the product manager, I promise, does have more of a role. Thanks, guys. So I will just try and I do have a slide. So let's see if I can bring us back. No, whatever. No, I'm not even going to bother. I can't be. So let's just, before we finish up, I'll do a quick recap of some of what I think the benefits are of playing in role-playing teams. There's obviously loads. Your team gets to practice making complex decisions. Your team gets to practice building empathy. Your team gets to learn the value of diversity. All of these excellent things. And I've got a Linktree link. This one's actually, it's the same one as before, but if you didn't scan it, it's got all of the resources that I've used today. It's got all of the different flavors of character cards, and I've tried to make the incident I just ran into a little workshop guide. It works way better format in 1 to 2 hours. You can add more characters, make it more suited to your environment. But yeah, if anyone does run it, I would love to hear. But yeah, thank you so much for being such a supportive audience. And I really hope you learned something today and take a fresh perspective to how role-playing games, especially tabletop role-playing games, can help us learn some of those core skills in our tech teams. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kirsty.